Welcome into Drew Staley Diamond for Tuesday, December 31st, 2024. Happy New Year's Eve out there to you as we got college football bowl action, college football playoff as well. So we'll be breaking down the games. Let me know in the comments below where you agree, where you disagree, your picks for today, for this week. All is welcome, guys. It helps grow the show. Smash that like button if you're liking the content as we got first game up. Alabama and Michigan, 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on ESPN. It's Alabama minus 13 and a hook, minus 14, 43 and a half being the total. Michigan comes in 7-5 on the season. They have covered 3 straight. Problem is they're going up against Alabama here, which they've also covered 4 of their last 5, playing some better football down the stretch. I think Jalen Milroe has a great game here. By everything I'm reading, he's going to be playing. And I think it sets up, as tough as it is for me to say, guys, as an Auburn graduate, man, I think this Alabama team, it sets up for them to roll, kind of a little bit of revenge. I don't take revenge as a big handicap, but last year's semifinal game, they lost to Michigan 27-20 on the way to Michigan winning the national championship. Also, their head coach, Kalen DeBoer, interesting in this, he was the head coach for Washington last year, who lost to Michigan in the national championship game. So I think if they get the chance, they're going to put, pedal to the metal, so to speak, to kind of run up the score here. Plus the fact Michigan, all defense this year, if you watched them, they do have 3 defensive starters out, so not sure that it's going to be the same caliber of defense. And it does look not many opt-outs here for Alabama. So I think Alabama rolls, guys. I would lay the 13 and a hook if you can. Alabama over Michigan to start us off early on New Year's Day. Next game up, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Pacific on ABC. It's the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl from Camping World Stadium, Orlando, Florida. It's South Carolina and Illinois, 49 being the total, minus 10. That is the Gamecocks as the favorite. Another SEC Big Ten conference battle here with both teams coming in 9-3, both straight up and against the spread. So great seasons for both of them money printing against the number, and both quarterbacks. I mean, listening to these touchdown to interception ratios, 17-7 for Sellers in South Carolina, and Outmaier, he had 21-5 touchdown to interception ratio. So 2 pretty good quarterbacks, at least off of good years this year. I think it comes down to the matchup handicap of Illinois up front and their offensive line. They did struggle a little bit. They gave up 26 sacks in 9 Big Ten conference games, and they're going up against the South Carolina defense. Solid, deep defense, getting after the quarterback. They beat Clemson in the Palmetto Bowl. They also had that tough SEC schedule, winning 6 straight down the stretch, covering 6 of their last 7. I don't want to step in front of the Gamecocks here. Neither do a lot of the other, odds makers, bettors out there. They're having to lay 10. Hey, there's good reason for that. South Carolina minus 10 over Illinois in Central Florida for this Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. Next one up, 3:30 Eastern on ESPN. It's the Kinder's Texas Bowl, NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, where the Texans play their home games. It's Baylor and LSU. Minus 4, that's the Baylor Bears as the favorite, 59 and a hook being the total. Baylor comes in, man, talk about a turnaround for a team. They started off the year, 2-4, I believe, then had a bye week, and then absolutely dominated. They won 6 straight after their bye week, both straight up and against the spread. So they've been cashing some tickets. They won all of those games except one by double digits. So their head coach, he's really turned it around here. And he's up against LSU, where it's David Aranda. I was thinking of his name. And interestingly enough, he was the defensive coordinator for like 3 or 4 years at LSU, for whatever that's worth. But LSU, guys, I just think they're a mess. I mean, yeah, they're 8-4, but just 4-8 against the number. They've been overpriced all year long. They've lost 4 of their last 5 against the number. And both of their offensive tackles are going to be out. That's always a huge question and a big handicapping angle. And 3 of their top 4 wide receivers are going to be out in this one. Man, talking about not wanting to step in front of teams that are cashing tickets, that's the Baylor Bears. The numbers moved a little bit. I don't love that over the key number of 3, but I think Baylor wins, and they win by margin here. So we're going Baylor over LSU in the Kinder's Texas Bowl. Got one game left. College football playoff matchup, Penn State and Boise State. Guys, a reminder, if you could comment below, I'll be in there as well, chiming in with you. Any questions, fire away. Got a couple of them. We'll do a question and answer session sometime this week on Drew's Daily Diamond. Going daily on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Smash that like button if you're liking the content, guys. All picks are welcome. It does help out the algorithm. Off the 3-0, 100% sweep of the Sunday card. We were 5-1 over the weekend. Guys had a chance to do all the recap here for the shows, which you can go back and watch if you'd like. The 3-0 Sunday, it brings us to 120-85. That's 59% winners plus 26.6 units of profit. $100 better up $2,660. Giving out all for free on the show. It's been an amazing run. That's over the last 14 weeks of doing this, pretty much ever since I moved to Mexico. Near Cabo, been absolutely cashing tickets on. I don't know if I'm ever moving back, but for what it's worth, guys, it has been a heck of a run. 59% winners over the last 14 weeks. So we'll get to the last game here. Hopefully a 3-1, if not 4-0 day on the Tuesday slate. And this is a big time matchup. College football playoff game, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl in Glendale, Arizona. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ESPN. So on the East Coast, it's going to lead you right up to the drop of the ball here. So hopefully get a winner in our pocket, celebrate the new year. It's Penn State and Boise State. -11, that is the Nittany Lions as the favorite. 53 and a hook being the total. You go over some kind of historical stats here. Both these two teams, interestingly enough, they combined for 10-0 straight up and against the spread in the Fiesta Bowl. Problem is, you might remember Boise State, that win over Oklahoma. That was one. But the problem is, neither of them have played here since 2014. So something's got to give in that, and also something's got to give because it's been a decade since they both played. Getting to the stuff that matters here. Boise State 12-1 on the season. Penn State, they had a couple losses, but some respectable losses there to Ohio State and Oregon. In that game against Oregon, that's something I'm taking into this handicap, because you got to remember the Big Ten championship game that was in Indianapolis, controlled climate, fast track. They're getting back here in the Fiesta Bowl to Glendale, Arizona, which is also a controlled climate where the Arizona Cardinals play their home games. And if you remember in that Big Ten championship game, it finished 45-37, very high scoring game. Their quarterback, Allard, 69%, 21-7 touchdown to interception ratio. I actually think Penn State is a little bit kind of not priced appropriately in the totals market, because they played a lot of cold weather, bad weather games, and that can kind of hinder your offensive performance. And when you look on the other side, Boise State kind of has that same profile. Their quarterback, Matson, 21-3 touchdown to interception ratio. He has great numbers as well. And of course, they have their running back, Genty, the Heisman runner-up. In my opinion, he probably should have won it. But their defense also let up 21-plus points 8 times this year against the Mountain West schedule. It includes, out of conference against Georgia Southern. Granted, it was early in the season. They gave up 45 points. They gave up 37 points to Oregon. Utah State scored 30 points on them. I actually think Penn State's going to score a bunch. If you made me pick a side, I would lay it here with Penn State. But instead, guys, I think this total is too low. 53 and a hook, both cold weather, bad weather teams in the last, month and a half of the season, now going to the controlled climate. I think it sets up well. I think Boise State, Genty, they're going to get a couple breakout plays, score a bunch, punch it in a few times. And I think Penn State's going to score 30 plus, if not 40 plus in this game. So I think we get into the mid 50s, maybe 60s and beyond, guys. Penn State, Boise State. For the best bet for the video, we are going Fiesta Bowl, Penn State, Boise State over 53 and a half. In recap, we got Baylor -4. We got South Carolina -10. And we got Alabama -13 and a hook. So that's all but one of the games on today's slate. And that other game is my $5 client play. $5 Tuesdays, WagerTalk.com. You get the top play discounted to just $5, and that is Louisville versus Washington in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, going early. So make sure to check out WagerTalk.com early on New Year's Eve day. Guys, we'll be back early for the New Year's Day bowl games as well. Come back and join us. Until then, Drew Martin checking out. Comment below, smash that like button, cash those tickets. Thanks for tuning in.